Welcome to the Reinvention Show with your host, Carol Wayne. Today, Carol's guests are Kelly Fidel and Tracy Repchuk. I'm your producer, Keith Vachon, and now your host, Carol Wayne.
Hey, and welcome to the Reinvention Show, the one and only show that educates, entertains, and inspires you on your journey for reinvention. Today, we're talking about reinventing marketing to women. So many aspects of business come from the male perspective, and marketers of all people should know that they're supposed to know their ideal customers, what they like and what they don't like, and how to talk to them in the language that resonates with them. So today, my guests and I are going to talk about the 91% of marketers that don't get it. So join us, and Kelly Fidel, you're up first. Welcome to the show.
Carol, thank you so much for having me. It's fantastic to be here. Really super excited to share.
Thank you. Kelly is America's premier sales expert in landing lucrative, larger clients. She's a professional speaker, author, and business strategist. As founder and CEO of No Glass Ceiling, she began her sales mastery at the age of 9. Raised by a single mother and very little money, she sold avocados door to door to buy a pair of Red Ball Jets tennis shoes. A woman's got to have her shoes.
Got to have the shoes.
Harnessing more than 28 years of expertise as a powerhouse corporate executive running billion-dollar sales divisions, Kelly successfully navigated the world of corporate deal makers and boardrooms, negotiating against some of the most powerful men in the world for her win. Good for you, Kelly. Her clients include NFL, Mercedes-Benz, Warner Brothers Entertainment, Staples Center, Transamerica, Assurant, and many more. And Kelly has been featured on over 150 powerful media partners, and now she's on the Reinvention Show.
Yay!
You can add that little icon to your website.
I love it.
So, Kelly, before we get started, first of all, what are Red Ball Jets tennis shoes?
So you're going to force me to date myself, but these were, they're kind of like a Keds, or
Okay.
what today would be like the modern day Converse. So they were just these high top tennis shoes. I had to have them.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, I've been an entrepreneur since I was little. I sold my French notes to my French teacher. So before we get started, can you please share a little bit about your background and how you came to specifically focus on marketing to women?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it was fascinating because having grown up really in corporate for 20 years, it was a primarily male-dominated area. And what happened was, while I climbed the corporate ladder without a glass ceiling, and I was very fortunate to do that, I constantly saw issues within on how women were making some fatal mistakes as they built their businesses, or, you know, their book of business, or working within a company. And then I also saw how companies were making these big, you know, errors and missing the mark repeatedly in marketing to women, thinking that men were the ticket. And in fact, it wasn't the case. So ejecting out of corporate, I spent several years, built a few businesses to 7-figure and sold them. And I really took on helping women and women entrepreneurs, just building their own businesses to 6- and 7-figure and doing it the right way, the fast way. So
cool.
Yeah.
Now, you shared some really interesting, you know, I should not say this word, statistics with me prior to the show, and I just want to go over a couple of them. You said that U.S. women constitute the number 3 market in the world. Can you explain this?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the statistics that that I shared with you, or that you'll see, and there are actually, I have a white paper of just like tons of statistics for those of you that are fact finders out there, right? But Forbes and Amex Open are so masterful at actually doing all of the heavy lifting and data research for us. So the number 3 market in the world is actually constituted as a collective bucket of, for example, women make 85% of all online buying decisions. That's an example. So once you take into consideration all of the different markets and the pieces, as well as the net worth, then it becomes a $19 trillion spend and a number 3 market economy in the world.
Wow, cool.
Crazy.
All right. So let's get started with that, with all of this other insight that you have for marketing to women. The floor is yours. Go for it.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I think the important stuff is that while all these statistics are out there, and that's wonderful, and everyone can either, find them on their own or take a peek around, here's the staggering piece I think that's most important for all of you that are watching. Only 9% of marketers are tapping into the female market the way it actually should. And so there's actually 2 huge markets that will create influence, reach, and impact for you as you're watching. One is the millennials, one is the boomers. So the boomers are, anyone basically, in their later 40s into their later 50s, early 60s. So boomers are no longer like your grandmother's market. Boomers have an enormous spend. They like to find information and have information. But here's the mistake that marketers make. By the time you get to a woman that you want to market to, what happens is oftentimes people will start on square one of the sales process and start to take them through, the notorious 6 steps of selling or the 7 strategies of whatever. And women are too savvy for that. They're already, by the time someone hits a woman and is ready to have that conversation, women are already 60 to 70% into the buying decision process, not in the sales process. So we have to be able to flip-flop our thinking and really understand what triggers women to buy. And I have some of those I can talk about later.
Sure. So, sorry.
You want me to keep going? Oh, okay,
yeah,
fantastic.
The floor is yours.
All right, cool. So first of all, on the millennial side, so younger, so really, there's these two distinct groups. It's not like marketers necessarily have to segment out the target. I personally don't segment out my men and women. I believe that where women go, men will follow. And so, just the message to market needs to resonate with exactly who that audience is and what the pain point and gap that you're able to fill through your results, right? Now, on millennials, it's a little bit different. While they do like information, they also like to be engaged. It has to be fun, think gamification, and almost like contests, okay? So building a brand from the bottom up has to incorporate a lot of different messaging components, contests and gaming, challenges, right? So a 30-day challenge, things like that, and not be degrading. So while that seems quite obvious, oftentimes advertising, while there may not be this TNA in advertising, toward women, sometimes there is, or it's the languaging. So marketers really need to get, and companies as well, speak into what a woman wants to hear, and don't market to women the same way as you would to men, because, we are hardwired differently.
Great. So, sorry, Kelly, I'm completely thrown off. You just keep going, please.
Oh, you want me to keep going? Okay, so let's see. Well, I know you have some questions, so I can just kind of, speak to some of those if you want, and kind of keep going. I just don't want to steal your thunder. So, yeah, the biggest piece, I can give you some examples, is that oftentimes people feel like they have to change their style when they're marketing to women. And at the end of the day, so I'll share with you, I'm a football mom. In fact, 43.7% of all NFL fans are women, which is a fascinating statistic. Even though I'm a sales dog, I still do like some of the statistics. I think they're fascinating. And so, my style is just by nature, relatively direct. I'll give it to you straight. I believe in sharing with people where the minefields are, and then really understanding how women tick. So I do like to talk quite a bit about results. Think about if you have a book, or, it's holiday. How many of us like to look at the last page first in the book, not read the whole thing, but at least kind of look at it? And I see you going, no, no, and some people do, yes, but you want to so I love to, right? I'm the one that will shake the present and see what's happening. Some women do, some women don't, but you want to be able to have some balance in what you're doing. Don't underestimate the power of how absolutely intelligent women are. Creating a brand awareness where women can be loyal to it, trust it. So really doing what you say you're going to do in the brand. If you say you're going to do X, deliver. Even if it's not absolutely perfect, still deliver it and don't delay it. Women want to be able to trust and know that what you say, there's skin in the game and that they can come back. Once there's brand loyalty, women are fantastic, as we all know, in sharing with our sister counterparts and some of our cool men, right? Exactly who we use and why. And that's the difference. So men will say, yeah, go to Joe Blow's pub. And we will say, go to Joe Blow's pub, and here are the exact reasons why. So women really do want to know why. Also, like I mentioned earlier, there has to be something within the brand and the loyalty to create connection. So, connectivity is big, not networking that produces goose eggs. There is nothing worse than wasting time. Women are busy. So while we wear a lot of hats, we are also very flexible, nimble, quick to market, and very resilient. And that's actually scientific because women's brains are hardwired very, very different than men. So we want and look for opportunities of challenge. So remember, we're looking for contests and fun things. It doesn't mean that women are competitive like a man, but we do like a good old-fashioned, let's have fun and collectively collaborate and have a contest. So, those are some of the key differences in marketing to women. It has to be fun, and at the end of the day, be who you are. Don't change what you're doing to try and fit into the female market, because we will call BS and see right through it.
Yeah, we've got very, very good BS monitors. Yeah.
Yes.
For sure. Cool. So, well, thank you very much, Kelly. We're going to switch over to Tracy, and then we're going to come back to you, and we're going to have a great big powwow.
Awesome.
Marketing to women. All right. So Tracy Repchuk is a 5-time international best-selling author, an online marketing and social media strategist and speaker. As an award-winning entrepreneur since the age of 19, with over 30 years of business, internet, SEO, and marketing background, she has helped thousands of clients get their message online fast and effectively. She has appeared as a technology specialist in national TV segments and in over 50 publications, newspapers, and magazines, plus thousands of speaking appearances in over 35 countries. Welcome, Tracy, and now you can put the logo on your website too for the Reinvention Show.
Yay!
So, Tracy, give us a sense of your backstory and your journey and how you came to be a marketing professional and someone who is helping to market to women.
All right, thanks, Carol. It's so interesting. Both of you said you've been like entrepreneurs and marketers forever. I started the same way. I was, I think, in grade 1, and I was selling old race stubs where my parents would go to the horse track, and I was selling these things, and I actually got pulled into the principal's office, and I said, hey, if they want them, why fight it, right? I know they're not, I mean, I never said your horse was going to win. I said there were, these cool mementos from a racetrack. But, and it's interesting as an entrepreneur because I've actually been that my entire life as well. I've never had a job. I graduated in 1985 with a degree in IT, and I started a software company at the age of 19. So again, this is back where like women were not in that market. And then when the internet emerged, kind of in 1994 area, I was among the first 100,000 people online developing websites, doing SEO, and I was working with banks, the Lottery Corporation, government agencies, and Fortune 500 companies. So that was an incredible journey, and it's really funny because when my focus switched was when I got pregnant. And everything switched for me at that point. My priorities changed. We had a 15 staff company, and me and my husband moved home to start to raise the children from there. So they'd like never been without us, never had babysitters. It was just kind of us raising them, putting in their morals and values. But what was really fun was we started to switch and establish a trend that was unheard of. Now we all have home-based businesses, and work at home is so kind of a standard. Back then, when we were leaving in the software industry, you'd have thought we'd have severed, an arm off the way people were reacting to us. But we were like, no, this is where it's going, right? And it was neat because the staff got to go virtual, and so that they enjoyed that. Like staff does today. So in 2006, I then switched all of my marketing efforts to primarily women, small business owners, kind of, 250,000 to $2 million range, and to help them establish themselves as experts in their field. And I really wanted them to look as good online as they did off. And so I helped to develop a fully branded end-to-end website presence for them so they professionally match, rise above the competition, attract, their ideal client, and really make it easy for prospects to buy more easily and frequently. So you can reach millions with your message and make that global impact that you're going for. And that became my trend. But what was interesting is, as I was creating this new evolution for Brand Woman to really make her mark in the world, that's where I started to discover all the trends in marketing. Were so primarily focused towards them that nobody was actually marketing to them, and that when they were, it was an abysmal failure. So that's kind of how I got started. I've been in male-dominated industries, from software to, again, I graduated as an accountant later in life, and then ended up on the board of governors as the only female, ended up on the World Internet Summit speaking circuit as the only female, and so I saw that all the men up there had no idea how to market to women, and that's why I did so well, because that's where I came in.
Cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And interestingly, too, I was in a male-dominated industry, too. My original business that I started in 1996 is an incentive company. And I started it online, playing with the big boys, and my first client was Microsoft. And
oh, man.
It was a female that I sold to at Microsoft, so that was cool. Yeah. So,
fabulous.
I forgot that part about the person being female until you were just talking right there. So I must change my story to add that in too.
Yeah.
So give us a sense of what you do for a typical business, particularly how it relates to marketing to women.
Okay, so again, like I mentioned, right, coming from a male-dominated industry, I so got to see the errors that were constantly being made. And so I learned very quickly, again, that women love to buy, but they don't like to be sold to. And again, Kelly mentioned this, right? We're 70% already there. We're always on the verge of wanting to take example or take up an opportunity, get something that we need, engage. And so that's what I started to master, kind of as a result of almost 30 years of marketing. And so I started to very much apply the psychology of color to the branding and the business building element of, especially because I build the websites and the brand and the logos and develop from that perspective. All of my stuff has to start from a subliminal end and then move out. And so it started with the colors that will appeal to the exact target market that you're going for, which they're just constantly and think or attempt just grab colors that they like. In fact, I've seen women make this mistake 100 times over. I went to a women's what do you call them, organization, right, catering to women, and I went there and the colors were like black and gray. I was literally depressed upon entering their site. In less than 3 seconds, and so that's how big color is, and even a women's organization neglected to realize that, and I don't know if they had a male design their website, or if they simply chose colors they liked. My guess is a guy did the site, and nobody, and I think that's one of the biggest differences between hiring a web designer and a web strategist, like what I am. A designer will do exactly what you say, or if you just give them the reins and you say, hey, just build me a website, they'll do what they want and make it their colors. Whereas kind of a web strategist will take a look at the underlying elements that you have to cater to, such as your target market. And again, so that's one of the very important elements. And then when I'm working with a client, a heavy study goes into the exact target market. What are their age? What are their interests? I mean, even Kelly brought up the difference between, even if you're marketing to a woman, we look at the exact age category on who we're dealing with, because they do like different experiences when they hit the site. And then you got to overall encompass this, especially for a woman. What is the transformation that you are looking to elicit? So the colors that cater to that are integrated into the logo, and then the 2 primary colors are integrated in the site, and then you get complementary splash colors. And if you take a look at other companies' logos, all of them run a very solid thread through who are they appealing to and what are the colors.
Well, are there any particular colors that you seem to find that work best, or is it really dependent upon the target market?
Well, it is somewhat dependent on the target market, but there are, for example, if you're going into the spiritual arena and you're appealing to women, generally one of those colors is probably purple. Okay, if you're appealing to the health conscious, generally one of those colors is going to be a green or a turquoise blue, because then it will combine kind of peace, eco-friendly, strength, growth, and health with trust, dependability, and elements of that nature, right? And then it all depends now, because now you're like, okay, what is the type of woman? Is she a boomer? Chances are she likes red, okay? She's excited and outgoing. And whereas the millennials like the orange because they're friendly and fun and confident, and that's the differences between the colors. So that's why we have to take a look so carefully at that.
Wow. I mean, I knew of psychology of color. I just didn't realize how important it was. And that was one of the questions you said to me when we were talking. You're like, well, how did you pick the colors for your website? I liked them.
Yeah, because I like those colors, yeah.
Let's talk about the biggest mistake that marketers make when marketing to women, specifically on the internet. Where are they screwing up?
Okay, so let's say they get the colors right. Then we go to phase 2, which most of them do not. I think one of the biggest things that they do, and again, I saw this so prominently coming from an internet marketing background, is their outgoing sales tactics. They completely bypass emotion. They bypass the need for impact, and they get, that's what women want. You want to give a woman the freedom to realize on her own that she needs the product, without that kind of shoved down your throat marketing tactic and the lingo that they use. And again, so this ties really to copywriting, such an important element with women. I mean, it becomes important for men too, but the languages is like, Venus and Mars. We like to be enlightened and engaged and enticed, and men want, in many cases, I want the facts and the figures and the this and the that, and I just, that type of thing. Now, women like that too, but you have to integrate and embed it in a way that takes them through a journey, a story, some sort of element that isn't just so factual. And I think that's one of the biggest things is they bypass the copywriting process or the need to appeal to that target market.
Yeah, I remember because I studied with J. Conrad Levinson, who is the father of guerrilla marketing.
Yeah.
And he said you've got to make sure you've got both those elements, and you've also got to make sure that you're appealing to the people, I'm going to say the word again, who like statistics,
yeah.
and those who like stories, and those who like pictures versus other things. So yeah,
exactly.
Good point. Okay, so social media has been a huge reinvention issue, and for many entrepreneurs it can feel like a time waster. What is your advice on social media in general, and more specifically, using social networking sites to create and nurture relationships with your female customers and prospects?
All right. Well, I think one of the biggest issues that I'm constantly addressing out there for social media, and it hit everybody so quickly, right? All of a sudden you needed to know social media. It was important for your business, and so most people would grab a Facebook account and just kind of sit there and click and like and do an odd comment, and really the top 4 social media platforms have extremely specific purposes, and when you understand that as a general point, then you're able to move forward and know where you should hang out. So for example, a lot of my clients, when I first reach them, are completely ignoring Twitter. Hey, Twitter's 140 characters, it's a joke. Well, Twitter is actually the most powerful list building tool out there. I build my list like crazy out of Twitter, and I'm talking free. Can we build our list out of Facebook ads? You bet. But from a free perspective and an engagement, I'm driving constantly people from Twitter to my landing page, and what I love about them is they're organized perfectly in pockets. Like, if you're appealing to an Oprah type audience and they are, because you're dealing with spiritual health, any of those topics, boom, go to Oprah magazine on Twitter, and all their followers are sitting there. Start scooping and following the followers, and then engage them with what you have to offer and pull them over. Say, hey, if you like Oprah magazine, guess what? I have this great 10 tips on blah, right? Just connect it to the audience that you pulled them from and drive them to your own landing page. It's like shooting fish in a barrel for target marketing. Then the other, of course, social media platform that we all know, love, and or hang out in extensively is Facebook. So I use Facebook for relationship building, and this is a great area to just kind of connect, talk, enlighten, engage, educate, invite over to a webinar, and I think that's the other thing. I think a lot of times men forget that part, and they just go for the sale. Like, hey, buy this, excuse me, you mind taking me out for dinner first? Would that be okay, And so Facebook is one of my favorite areas, primarily because of the way it's structured. It's just such an easy to follow communication thread that allows me to keep in touch with my clients and my prospects very easily. Next, of course, is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the gold mine. It is where all the money is as far as social media platforms are concerned, and the earnings power. So I get my speaking engagements, I get my high-level clients, like what Kelly's possibly going to be talking about, and I get my prospects from over there. And so when I want to enter into a company or get a speaking engagement or something like that, that's where I get them. And when you set up your profile properly and then connect to your target market appropriately, I tell you, it is a fantastic area. Plus the groups, there's over 1 million groups over there specific to what you want to do. And then last but not least is where we're hanging out right now, right? Google Plus, off the hook, beautiful place. I'm I don't love the layout, okay? I find it very difficult to follow the thread of a conversation on Google+. So here's what I use Google+ for, of course, for the Hangouts, right? Hangouts, circles, transcriptions, and last but not least is the fact that Google+ is the only platform where when you post something in Google+, it indexes to Google. And why would it? It's because they're owned. So you can absolutely dominate SEO based on that element. So when you have webinars or you're announcing anything, should be happening in Google+. So that's kind of the generics of it. And what are people missing? They're missing the fact that when you're talking to a woman, you need to be authentic, you need to be personal, you need to be engaging, enlightening, and you just need to be real. That's all women want, because that whole area is about relationship building, every single one of these. And so if you're true, authentic, and real up there, that's all. And you can give me a stat and you can sell me, but you better be real about it.
Right. And interestingly, I did a test post on Google Plus a while back, and I was creating a post about Google something. It was indexed within 20 minutes because I got an alert 20 minutes after I posted it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Google Plus is where it's at to be indexed. Now also talk to us, Tracy, about whether you prefer using profile or pages or groups. Which do you prefer? Which do you recommend in Facebook?
In Facebook,
Yeah.
I actually use all three, and here's why. For my master site, my profile, right? That's actually where I'm very real. You get me, you get all of me. I'm telling you where I'm doing. I'm talking about the kids, and I'm talking about business, all in the same breath. I would probably hang out there all day long, only I hit the 5,000 max. I was forced at that point to go groups, and I was forced to go other avenues. So for groups, I actually am a member of many, and I've created many. And one of my biggest groups, of course, is my VIP Platinum group that I have up there, which is my high-end clients. And I visit with them every single day and give them the inside tips and give them what's going on and remind them what they should be doing. So this really increases my connection to them, and I advise everybody to do that. And then as far as, my company and niche markets are sitting up there in pages, right? So that you can, if you go to I think internet marketing, I have special ones for that, specific to the niche. And so that one is very selling oriented. So I probably have 4,000 followers just in that one that I don't really engage and know, but we're transferring information all the time and buying little products from each other. And then, of course, I have my company up there. And then I have my, Tracy Repchuk fan page, which is if you get knocked out of my site and I've reached my 5,000 limit, that's where you end up. And so it actually becomes more complex than I'd like it to be. If I could just have my personal page and my VIP group, I'd probably hang out there all the time. But for some reason, Facebook has imposed this limit and forced me to have multiple avenues. But they all have pros and cons. On the other hand, you can place ads strategically, and you can promote posts from your pages. So every single one of them is important for a various reason.
Cool. I find that my profile is where I'm at. I'm not at 5,000 yet, so it's opportunities to.
It's a sad day, Carol.
But I also find that on my pages, and perhaps it's because I'm not doing it properly, there's very little engagement on the pages. I can post the same thing in my profile and get comments galore, and nothing on the pages. So maybe I'm doing it wrong. We can talk afterwards.
Yeah.
So we marketers always talk about list building, and the value of a business is represented as a result of the engagement that you have with your list. So some people have huge lists and there's no engagement, that there's no real value to it. Other people have smaller lists, but they are so receptive that the value is there. So what nuances are there between marketing to men and marketing to women via email? And do you recommend segmenting your list based on gender? And do you have if yes, do you have a separate message for men and women?
Okay, so one of the things is, it's very hard to segment a list kind of by men and women, and Kelly mentioned this, she doesn't do it either, right? And neither do I. Simply because you have to know who you're targeting to prior to even opening that door, right? So I am specifically targeting to women, and then enlightened males join in, and they like the same aspect of conversation. Many of my clients are holistic practitioners, and so I have a great mix of both women and what I'll call the enlightened male. And the one thing about too, if you try to segment your list up front, so now you're asking name, email, and gender, right? For every single question that you ask prior to the opt-in, you're going to kill your conversions. You're going to affect the number of people that you get in the door. And so I just say don't do it. So decide who your target market is for your list well in advance, before they even hit the landing page, because your communication from that landing page and via your emails should be specific already to your target market. So when I'm talking to somebody from my email or from the landing page, I am thinking that I'm talking exactly to somebody like yourself or to Kelly, and I'm like, what do you need, and how am I going to communicate this message to you, and what are you feeling right now, and how can I help you? And that way, when you're writing everything to the one very ideal specific client target market, that's how you're going to engage generically. And when you go to generic and try to please men and women and this and that and all the different age groups, you're going to fall flat on your face on every single aspect, because you're not going to hit the trigger points they're waiting for, and you're not going to be able to kind of engage them at the level that they want. So you need to know your headline, your copy direction, how to write your emails, and then in my case, the enlightened male always follows in behind. And so if you reach one, you go a mile deep and an inch wide when you're communicating to your target market. That's how successful people manage to do it.
Awesome, thanks, Tracy. Now, we're going to bring Kelly back into the conversation, and we're going to talk and do a deep dive about the way marketing and sales works for women. So, I even have notes and I can't read them. Okay, Kelly, I'm going to ask you first. We covered this a little bit, but if you can go a little bit deeper in it, what needs to change when selling to women?
I think it's the messaging, quite a bit of it. I mean, as far as like colors and all that cool stuff that Tracy talks about, I do believe in that. I mean, no glass ceiling is purple and silver because it's elegant and it actually attracts a very high-end, affluent entrepreneur, which is my market. But I also like it, So I believe that the messaging for marketers must be clear and true to who they are. Women, by nature, do not have deep clarity into what they do in their own business. It's actually one of the first things that people come to me. They want clarity in their business, and they want results, which is why I teach how to get six-figure deals in 60 days or less, working with either entrepreneurs, small, medium, or large companies. I mean, it's like very specific, very bottom line. I believe that less is more. Bigger is not always better. So streamline, simple. On the social media side, I agree with Tracy. I have a group that is very interactive, and I love to do that. Through my membership site, which is free, I love to even take that a step further. On my Facebook page, I have a couple thousand fans. I'm not interested in spray and pray. I keep it tight. I like the engagement. It's just simple for me. And LinkedIn is obviously a great platform. What I dig about LinkedIn is that they are there to do deals. So it's really about clearing the cobwebs. Get super clear, whether it's email marketing, social media marketing, video. I mean, key decision makers watch 2 hours of video each day in order to make a decision to do business with you. They're looking for solutions. And a key decision maker could be a high-end affluent entrepreneur. It could be a small business owner. So it's just like, stop all of the, if everybody's going here, let's go there. No, I'm all about going against the grain, flip-flopping, business and life, and creating a pattern interrupt. So Stay true and get clear yourself. Keep it short and sweet. Have a community and have fun, and the money will follow.
Awesome. Thank you. Tracy, do you have anything to add? What would you change?
Generally, build what you want to be known for. We're in an era of experiential marketing. Describe the experience from end to end that you want your prospect to go through, and then build all of that through your website, your copywriting, your navigation, and the offers that you present.
Cool. Okay, so when I went to college, there were 5 P's in marketing. There's now a lot more P's, and I've added 5 more for my own program that I'm launching soon. I added platform, passion, purpose, people, and personality. So, Tracy, I have asserted that these are 5 areas that need to be considered. Obviously, I'm female. However, in your opinion, do marketers need to differentiate themselves with these additional P's when marketing to women?
I think if you market yourself by establishing your own unique selling proposition, what makes you you, why you for your prospect, I think that's the first element that you need to address. Then you can incorporate kind of the passion, the people, the platform. This is almost like a strategy now. Once you've established your USP, like, where are my people? What platform am I going to be leveraging? What is their passion that I need to appeal to? And of course, everything that you do, though, does have to incorporate your personality. That's what makes you authentic.
Cool, thank you. And Kelly, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, Carol, I think it's brilliant. First of all, I love what you do. I think that every college, university, school, marketer, everyone in the entire universe should have your 5 Ps first, because that's the foundation. And the passion should be our passion, and let people come to us if it's a fit. So I think that should be the core. And then secondary is product, people, pricing, promotion, and place from the old school, marketing world. While I feel it's important, I completely do not subscribe to old school sales tactics. I believe in short sales cycles, and I like your 5 Ps. If someone did that and then followed the other ones later, I think they're going to be just fine.
Oh, thank you. Cool. Yay. All right. So, Kelly, I want to switch gears and talk about complete and utter failures in advertising. We've talked a lot about online marketing and other digital marketing strategies. Have you seen a complete and utter failure when it comes to traditional advertising, perhaps in print or on TV?
This is such a provocative and controversial topic, right? Because for one woman, it could be highly insulting or offensive, and yet for another woman, it may not. So I can share with you just some of the things that I've heard. I'm a very open, no judgment person. So there are some things that I think some of the European ads are like, wow. But some of the things that come to mind are off the top. Doritos. Love that sexy Latino gal and the Super Bowl commercial, and they throw the Dorito and she bites it. The Coors twins with the, some of that is really sex-based marketing to men. The challenge is that women go to the market. They buy the products. So, and they typically buy, maybe beer for the man, but they buy the Doritos for the kids. So, did it miss the mark or not? I'm not really sure. But I always thought those were kind of fascinating. The recent Pantene commercials and don't get labeled, and, women are, bossy and men are awesome. And there was a whole parallel drawn between how, men are badass and women are bitches. Excuse the language, but, really that is what Pantene said. And Kellogg's did a similar commercial. I find it derogatory that major brands have to go and pull back to the 50s and do some controversial marketing and engage celebrities to date down and address that. I stand on the foundation that women do not have to be compared. And we have our own area of brilliance. Even if I was sitting in the boardroom with the CEOs and the directors of marketing and CMOs at Kellogg's and Pantene, I think there could have been a completely different approach. I feel that it could have captured a wider female net to empower instead of create a fear-based poor me, which I don't subscribe to.
Cool, thank you. Kelly, sorry, Tracy, what ads drive you nuts?
I think one of the ads, again, and it's possibly from what Kelly said, and that is that one for the hopper. You know, everyone has their own TV, a bunch of overweight men seeking solitude with their iPads. I just find that creepy right off the bat. But I think they're totally missing any possible mark with women whatsoever, and we're the ones bringing what entertainment's coming into this home in the way that it is. And so, you know, they have to show more, like, and cuddling with your child on the couch, maybe with an iPad, or, you know, going to bed and instead of reading a story, you're flipping through something, you know, something completely different from what they did there. And and then I agree with Kelly completely, driving me crazy with this constant comparison of what's happening between men versus women. And then I go the other side of Kelly, where the sexy kind of commercialism and attempting to sell to women based on that drives me completely crazy.
See, we want to be provocative on this show too. Come on.
Yeah.
Actually, it doesn't drive me crazy, but I've seen some ads in magazines that are poking fun at the consumer products companies that tell us about our feminine hygiene products and how we're supposed to be ballerinas wearing white pants and stuff. I'm like, oh, yeah. So anyways, in terms of online marketing, who's doing a fantastic job of marketing to women and why? Let's start with you, Tracy.
Actually, I think Macy's is doing a great job right now. I think they have completely established themselves as this very high-end retail store now, where you can go in and get a bargain. And, you know, they have the most fabulous concept and integration marketing, from the email offers that they send to you, because they're very big on broadcast, they're very big on the text-based, they're fabulous at the offline offers. I get coupons in the mail, I get all sorts of things. They're engaging me from every single angle, and then when I get to their site, it is so easy to navigate and find what you want online. That, to me, again, it goes to the speed that Kelly talks about. I actually hate shopping. If I'm getting something, I want to know the price, I want to get it, I want to use my coupon, and I want it now. And boom, I get all of that.
Yeah, me too. And actually, my daughter, she's 18. When we do back to school shopping, she knows how much I hate shopping. So she's gone online to the mall, figured out what stores are in the mall, figured out what's in each store, and she's got a list.
Perfect.
This is a millennial, so there you go. Sorry, Kelly, who do you believe gets it when marketing to women?
Actually, two completely ends of the spectrum. So the first one is very high end, and that's Christian Louboutin. I think that they do a phenomenal marketing campaign specifically driven for women. So some people are probably thinking, well, of course they have women's shoes and some men's shoes. True, but just because they do it doesn't mean that they're marketing it the right way. So via social media, they're big on Instagram. I think that they just really, really do capture the emotional essence of, you know, what it is like to wear a pair of red sole shoes. Right or wrong, they get it. The other one is Target. And I think from every element of branding, being on the Target, of course, they used to have the dog, to some of their ads, their offline advertising, and even the layout. I think about back to school, right? Moms, women, you know, wife, mother, career woman, all of that, we're busy. And I just love how they compartmentalize. It reminds me of making a sandwich, right? So you go and you get the back to school stuff. I use it as an example. So it's like you'd make a sandwich, bread, condiments, lettuce, cheese, meat, this, that. You know, it's like you could really go through that back to school area and be out of there in like 7 minutes flat. Big bonus. And, you know, it's easy to pick up stuff on the way. So they've got this upsell stuff toward the front. Masterful.
Cool. Well, I particularly like what WestJet is doing right now. And I've written a couple of blog posts about them. They've got an video right now for Father's Day about a West Jetter who went to a father's place of work because his son was in a different town. His son was in Edmonton with his mother at Children's Hospital with a heart defect and going through treatment. They'd been there for 3.5 months, and he had stayed home to look after the other son, and he was working. And so the West Jetter went to the guy's work and talked to the boss and got trained to fill in for that guy for a whole week. And then they gave them the tickets so that he could go to Children's Hospital and Ronald McDonald House for a week. Well, I was bawling my eyes out.
I'd be bawling.
Yes.
And it was done
Absolutely.
so well. And I suspect that WestJet knows that a majority of women are buying airline tickets and making travel plans.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite bawling moment. Emotional connection to an ad right now. So.
And they were authentic about it too.
Yeah,
you know? It wasn't a marketing ploy. They were really genuine about it, and that's probably what appealed so strong and wide as well.
Yeah, and they did one at Christmas time too, with people getting on a plane in one city, and they set it up like they were asking Santa for something, and by the time they got off the plane in the other city, everyone on that plane got essentially what they asked Santa for. And again, it was so and it was so tugging at the heartstrings, and it was so neat to see all the employees running around and how engaged they were to be able to deliver on this surprise. So I just love those, and they're not really ads per se, as you said, but certainly gives connection.
And Campbell's Soup used to do that, and so did Bell Canada. They used to have fantastic advertising along those same lines. Both have dropped that now, but they used to.
They might want to bring it back, right, Tracy?
Yeah, exactly. You might want to look at conversions.
I think there's one that has crossed gender lines very, very well, and that is the entire Richard Branson brand, and Virgin Airlines is a great example.
Yes.
So
I love Virgin too.
Yeah.
I actually drove all the way to Seattle to catch a Virgin flight out of Seattle to Los Angeles, spent the night in Los Angeles to fly to Cancun on Virgin rather than flying from Vancouver.
Nah.
love it.
So we're getting down to running out of time here. So let's talk about, Kelly, if you can get into the C-suite of a company that is failing so miserably marketing to women, what would you say to them?
I would say, first of all, get down into the roots of your target market. Grab 15 women of all different, ethnic backgrounds, age backgrounds, pull them together for a weekend, all expenses paid, into a target, and roll up your sleeves and get down in the dirt and stop paying your ad agencies and start paying attention to women that can really actually give you the answers that you're looking for a fraction of the cost, and then take those ad funds and donate them to women in need.
Oh, cool. Love that one. Tracy, how about you? What would you say?
Yeah, I think generally what Kelly just came up with is a great idea, and I think ad tracking. I mean, I guess they're doing it, but if I take a look at a specific company on what they're doing, and again, this goes back to what Kelly said. I find all the GoDaddy commercials repulsive. They're like beer commercials gone bad, and as a woman with over 700 domain names, I feel like I am definitely a part of their target market. So they took an incredible, successful woman who has mastered a male-dominated sport, and to me, they turned it into a degradation. So I give them an A+ for successful women and an F for how they use her. And so I'd love to do a split test. I'd love to see them do a split test campaign on, if if we went a whole different approach and didn't have to be a bad beer commercial, what could we really do? Could integrate causes, integrate the fact how this woman did what she did. Let's go the emotional route, and let's really empower.
Cool.
I would love to see a split test, Tracy. They could do like the GoDaddy with the babe, and then they could do a Big Daddy with some hot guy, and let's just see which one pulls.
Well, yeah, you could do that, and then the other way, right? Use the woman right, and and maybe use a guy right. Somebody who's got a cause connected to him, who's making an impact online, and leveraging the GoDaddy domains and social causes. I tell you, I'd love to see, like I say, a complete split test.
So this is fascinating. Actually, Carol, I know you have to wrap up, but I don't even see GoDaddy utilizing an upscale avatar. So thank you, Tracy, for bringing that to my attention, opening my market awareness.
No, that's great. Now, one last question before we do our wrap up. We all love using marketing. Marketing, of course we do. Videos in our marketing. Is there a gender difference about who is enjoying video more, or is there a better way to use video for men and for women? Have you looked at that very specifically?
I mean, generally, I think men watch videos more when it comes to pure entertainment, and women love to reach out for step-by-step instructions. And I think definitely women are realizing what a resource they have in front of them, and they're now starting to utilize the access to, of course, things like YouTube, and then use the video themselves in their own marketing. And so generally, I think if you want to appeal to a woman, do some emotional storytelling with the help. And for a guy, you got to better entertain him.
Okay, cool. And Kelly?
It's fascinating. We've talked about a lot of things, but when I think of video, I still go back to podcasting and on-demand, bite-sized consumable pieces of content, 7 to 10 minutes, whether it's a video on a podcast, whatever it is, so that it can be taken on the run. Again, allowing everyone to say no more, streamlining the process, and creating, the lifestyle that they want, which is, let me have what I have. Tracy mentioned this. Let me have what I want when I want it, and be able to pick and choose a la carte. And so that is actually one direction that I'm moving in myself, and have a phenomenal, podcast launch team. So we'll be definitely doing that. I remember podcasts from corporate, which was really an intranet internal
I remember
thing.
that.
So it's not new. It's just that I think that's the ticket. I dig it. It's how I like it. So I'm going for it.
Cool. And Tracy, are you using podcasting too?
I'm not using it a lot. I've done all the setup and structure, and now it's organizing my content. So I'm at the cusp of it, but I understand the value for sure.
Good. Yeah, I'm looking at all of the value I've got from all of my shows, and I'm going, now what do I do with it?
Exactly.
So I'll be moving in that direction too. So anyways, thank you gals so much. It's been so phenomenal, and I wish we had an extra hour or so just to get really deep into the topic. So one of the things that I like to do is ask if you have a gift for the audience. And I believe you do, Kelly.
I do. Yes. Please go ahead and visit noglassceiling.com. There is a free lifetime membership that is set up. It will always be free. There are a ton of interviews, online classes, products, and events that go on consistently. So you can go there very easily, grab your online free lifetime membership, and start to build your business bold, fearless, and unstoppable.
Awesome, thank you. Now, Tracy, did we get you sorted out, or?
Yeah, I mean, if you go to fastactionresults.com, it's probably sitting right there. I've got a guide called Instant Online Impact, how your brand, websites, and social media work together. It's really a massive expansion on what we've been talking about today and how to really pull it all together. And yeah, so go there, and then you'll be a part of my community.
Awesome, thank you. Now, there you've had it. Another fantastic show, the Reinvention Show, Marketing to Women. Next show, we have Reinventing Your Relationship with Money. Going to be a juicy topic, a juicy show with Morgana Ray and Sherry Molchen. So join us for that show, and of course, go over to thereinventionshow.com, put in your name and email, and join our mailing list so that you know what's going to happen in the next show, and also so that you can receive the links for all of the gifts that our guests offer. Links for all of the gifts our guests offer, even if you sign up after some gifts have already been given by other guests. That wasn't very good in saying that, but you know what I mean.
Love it.
So until next time, bye everyone. Ciao. Thank you. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Tracy.